Bonjour, hello everyone, welcome back to Carried Golds.
Bonjour. You were in like Montreal for a week. Stop pretending you know French.
Hey, fuck me for trying to be cultured, okay?
I could find more culture in spoiled yogurt.
Alright, you're just a fucking asshole. Whatever. I'm Purple,
I'm Monarch.
and this is our amateur analysis series. Quite often in R6 Pro League, we find teams that pull out amazing strats that you want to emulate. The problem being, there's very few people who can play with a constant 5-stack, and even less often that you'll find regularly practiced strats. So what we'll be doing in this series is breaking down some of the coolest setups we've seen in Pro League and how you can adapt them for your solo or duo play. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Waiting ever so patiently, Julia.
So that was the first thing we wanted to talk about, correct?
Yes.
We have this shield up here, which I think is something you could really apply to solo queue or even duo queue. It's a really easy setup. You put a shield here, you have your ADS, barbed wire, Gurshmot, something like that on the stairs. You could play this position with an Ella, an Alibi. You could have a smoke set up a shield for you. Pretty much anyone with a shield, and you could play it yourself. Even you could play the Jaeger yourself. You have your own barbed wire, you have your own ADS, you just need a shield. Is there anything else we really need to add to that? I mean, it's a simple way to hold study.
The only thing I think I would add is it's probably something you'll see later in the video is that sometimes you can have people playing right here with another shield.
Yeah,
another shield and or just playing this stairs in general.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you never know if multiple people are pushing this way or have multiple grenades coming up. It could be a lot easier holding with someone else here and then having this person hold study.
Yep, for sure. I think one of the best reasons you'll find to play or to have a smoke bring this shield is that smoke can shotgun open this hole right here and uses as a rotation, and he can play his shotgun around this corner.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think that's probably the best way to play it because I think that's why a lot of pro league teams are bringing it so they can have that open rotation.
Yeah.
Which I think it may not be something you want to bring in ranked if you're solo or duo, but it for sure is something that you could talk to your team about and maybe they can be okay with, especially if you're playing in plat to diamond range.
Oh yeah, especially if you're solo and duo, you're like it's going to be hard to have a team to make sure a teammate is playing like 90 and playing red and
yeah. I think this is definitely something doable as a duo. I think if you play a Jaeger here, he has his own ADS, he has his own barbed wire. Smoke can play his bar spot over here, right where Kamikaze's playing. He can hold the shotgun angle here, and I think the rest of your team will kind of deal with that. I mean, you can ask them first, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone's going to be too opposed to saying, hey, I'm going to commit to this spot to hold study and to hold this corridor. I don't think anyone's going to contest you too highly on that if you say, I will play it.
Yeah.
So that's just, I think that's something really simple that anyone can really start with. Villa's a really good map to showcase strats like this. Study's obviously so important when you're holding Aviator. And I think it really, because the big deal about this shield is that you have contestant all the way to this door. You can peek the window if need be. Pretty much you're drawing a line through half of study. And it's just making it incredibly hard to, they have to deal with you, essentially.
Yeah.
They either have to deal with you or they have to go around.
Yeah, if they want full study control to open either of these walls, they have to get you out of the spot.
Yeah, because even, like, you can see right here, they're pushing the Hibana pellets. But what do you do with that control if you can't enter study?
Yeah, exactly.
All that means is the guy in Volt doesn't peek. Now, admittedly, it's ranked. You're going to have a guy peek from Vault. That's just, can't do anything about it.
You're stuck. I know I'd peek it.
Yeah, I would. I'm a dickhead like that. I'll be like, hey, we have study control. They're not coming in. I'm going to peek it. But, okay, say worst comes to worst, you get a crouch hole open here with Hibana, right? Because you're not going to get a thermite in there.
Yep.
Smoke can move up and he can cover that with his shotgun. Now you have to contest the smoke.
Yeah, exactly. And even the person in Vault can come and they have this entire room.
Yeah.
And even to go through this rotate hole. and you pretty much almost can give up this entire site and hold it from bar.
Yeah. The only thing I'd really say about this strat is if you could ask someone, can you play 90?
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah,
think
having someone playing 90 or that back hallway is definitely really vital for this person playing behind the shield.
Yeah, I think that's why it's really nice that they brought an Ella pick here. I think Ella makes a lot of sense for this setup because Ella can hold 90 by herself, or Ella can hold this angle,
Or
to be honest.
even the people who like the places you're not holding specifically, you put a Gersmont there and you know when someone is there.
Yeah. Because say you have an Ella holding 90, all of a sudden you can stick a Gershmont on these study stairs, which is where most Pro League players will stick it.
Mhm.
Because one of two things is going to happen. They're going to hit it or they're going to shoot it, and you're going to have intel. You've got your barbed wire on the stairs. You have an Ella holding 90 up, over there. And this just becomes you control this entire portion of the map as well as study, which is incredibly important.
Yeah.
And so they're left with a couple options. They either have to push out the Ella, they have to push out the Jaeger, or they have to just all come barreling through the doorway into what is that? What is that room? Aviator?
From top red, yeah.
Yeah. They'll have to come through one
And
doorway,
aviator, yeah.
which is all of a sudden you still have Smoke playing bar, you still have someone playing vault, still have someone from 90 who can contest towards red. That's a terrible arrow.
You still have the person from shield who can rotate into study.
Yeah, say if they give up study control, you can either rotate through study or you can even go out down for the flank.
Yeah.
You leave yourself a lot of options without really exposing yourself to too much risk. And I think that's the big key for this strat is, and for anything we show in this series, is giving yourself advantages without giving yourself up to risk.
Yeah.
Which I think is important, without putting your team up to risk, which is good. Obviously, this is going to be extremely strong if you're bringing it in a 5-stack.
Oh yeah, 100%. Have full communication.
Yeah, but
you can figure out. You can always know where your team is at all times.
But it can be done with a duo. It can be made extremely strong with 3 people. Because I don't know of a lot of people who would say, no, I'm not going to play 90.
Yeah.
Like,
what competent ranked players are going to just give up 90
honestly
to the attackers?
90 is a fun position to play, in my opinion. I think it's a good time. You have a lot of good angles. You always are on the right side of the peeker's advantage if you're playing it well. You have to deal with the window, but that's not really the biggest issue.
That's not a huge deal.
As far as ADSs, if you're playing with this with the Jaeger, I'd have the one here. I'd put one behind bar and I'd stick one up on 90. So you have your 90 player covered from the window or any projectiles, you have yourself covered, and you have your smoke covered, which I think are the 3 most important positions in this setup.
Yeah, sure.
Pretty much, obviously, smoke, bring your shotgun SMG-11, don't bring the FMG-9, don't be a weirdo. I don't think you should have to say that, but I'm going to say it. Don't bring a shotgun on Jaeger. That would be nice. You can really play anybody up in 90. I think either a Legion or an Ella would be prime. I think a Legion might even be a little better, but that's up to you, because Ella can bring herself a shield, and that really helps support 90. But beyond that, I think it's pretty much open to interpretation. I'd still bring either a Maestro and Echo in Vault, preferably. And honestly, you can get away with just a free roamer at this point, I think. Something like a Vigil. I think a Valkyrie would help out in this situation. Anybody else you would bring just as that 5th?
I mean, a Valk would be really nice. It gives you that extra information, but other than that, you could really bring anyone else.
Any competent roamer, really?
Yeah.
Especially someone to hold up over in trophy statuary area.
Oh yeah.
Or even someone down at like bottom of astronomy stairs, like the stairs going to the basement, that can come up and either flank red, flank up through Astro. They have different routes they can go, and especially in a ranked game, you're extremely unlikely to get found in the basement unless you're Ryan.
Yeah, when 3 people just randomly enter through the basement for no reason.
That happens if you're Ryan, but if you're not Ryan, you should be fine. You should be. It's extremely uncommon to drone the basement in ranked. Even in high level ranked, to be honest, I never drone the basement. I don't think you do.
No, I usually hold bottom red when we're trying to get control of like piano and stuff, but other than that, I don't pay attention to it at all.
I'll hold the rotations, but I'm not going to drone out the whole basement. It's a waste of a minute, a solid minute to drone out that whole basement. It's time you can't afford. So yeah, I think that covers a simple and easy solo duo study strat. Coming into it from a solo perspective, if you just want to hold this position, I would just bring someone with a shield, probably Alibi or Ella. Ella, if you're competent with her gun, would be extremely strong here, especially because you can have your own Gersmot. And just ask for a Jaeger. I don't think a lot of Jaegers are gonna argue with you over giving you an ADS there. I don't think I would. ADSs on this side are kind of up in the air for debate depending on how you play it. You may not have the rotation here if you're playing solo, which is okay. It's not the end of the world, but you can still just control a lot of the map from this position. Anything else you want to add before we move on?
I think we pretty much covered it.
All right. So this is actually showcasing what we wanted to talk about with the double shield. All right, so this is just a really good representation of what we were talking about earlier with a duo shield roam up here. You've still got your shield up here, but now you've got your Ella, which I think Ella's, again, a strong position to play down here, with the second shield supporting the upper study contention player. What's really good about this setup is that if, say, you've used the strat on the first round and you found that the other team goes, okay, we're going to push that guy out of there full tilt, like we're going up study 3 deep. Now you can say, okay, we'll make the adjustment. They want to contest us. We'll fight them harder. I think it's as simple as that, really. Say, we're going to put 2 bodies here if you're going to put 3. And we're going to win because we have the better angles. I think it's really as simple as that, unless you have anything particular to add.
No, not really. I would say that I think when you do play the 2 people here, it's definitely vital that you bring a Jaeger.
Oh yeah.
Because if 2 people are pushing up through like study stairs and stuff, this person is in a very vulnerable position for grenades and flashes. Yep. So I think a Jaeger like here and then still having just your normal Jaeger here is very, very helpful.
Especially, I'm going to say, with the introduction of Void Edge coming really soon. I think Ying would be an incredibly strong operator to push this position because of her Candelas for 1 and her frag grenades for a second. It doesn't really matter which way she goes. She can burn the ADS with frags. She can have a teammate burn the ADS with frags. She can use the frags to drop the shield. She can go for the kills. She can dump Candelas in and push you. There's a lot of different options that single operator could bring that could really open up holes in this defense. Coming new update, not live build. And especially just with Void Edge, we're going to have a lot more frag grenades on the table. And because it's ranked, you're going to see people bring operators just because they have frags. You're going to see a lot more Maverick. I think you'll see a lot more Ying. You might see more Nook. I kind of doubt it, but I expect to see more frags on the table.
And never mind. Forget what I was going to say.
I think coming back, because there's no reason we can't look at this from the perspective of a 5-stack. Goyo's a strong pick in this site, for sure. I think he makes a lot of sense having 1 in this doorway so that, if it's just a rush, you pop that shield and
you get 10 seconds of just figuring out what you want to do next.
Yeah. I know a lot of Goyo players don't like to do it. I would bring impacts in this situation because that leaves you with a couple different options. You can impact trick these walls if need be. You can support your bandit, your Cade, whatever you want to do. And you can detonate his shields without exposing yourself to danger, which I feel is something that a lot of people tend to forget about. I actually tend to bring impacts on Goyo for this situation. Because, say These players are all Candela'd. Okay, now you don't know what's going to go on. Study is now very much open for the taking. So if you hear someone hop in this window, you get the call from a Valcam that someone's pushing up, you know, you can stay in relative safety back here. You toss your impact, you deploy your Goyo. Now you only have one angle to watch, or, maybe even two. But as Goyo yourself, you have one angle to watch. And you've bought yourself 10 seconds for Candela's, Gurshmots, flashbangs to wear off.
And you buy yourself 10 seconds for possibly this bandit to rotate through and come help. People from 90 to rotate around.
Or
you buy yourself a lot of time just for your team to get in better positions.
And I think that's what you should aim for here, is to take a high-level strategies and just apply them in a way that disrupts the normal ebb and flow. So I think we are done here, and we can move on to a proper use of Clash. This is going to be a fun one.
As the Clash of Psycho will just watch the
All right, so right now we have a trophy statuary defense in which the benefits of Clash is put right on full display. Psycho plays it beautifully, and it ends up winning the whole round. If you want to expand a little bit on how they did that.
Yeah, so they put a Clash in Astronomy and played a Maestro behind the Goyo shield behind the desk. And they used all of their utility pretty much, getting rid of that Maestro behind the shield, and then there was nothing else they could really do about the Clash. So she was able to sit there and waste as much time as possible. And by the time they were able to get control of site, there was maybe 2 seconds left, and they did not have any more time to plan it.
Yeah, in Pro League a lot, you'll hear teams talk about utility soaks. You'll hear them talk about Castle, Goyo. You have another utility soak in mind?
Smoke a lot.
Smoke, yeah. Just operators that make you use up your utility, make you use up your Zophias, make you use up your frag grenades, use up your breaching charges, things of that nature. And Clash in this situation really spoke to that. We're gonna watch it again. We're gonna watch it through. So basically, you see Zofia expend all her impacts and Gurshmots. You see Sledge lose all his frag grenades. I believe we're out of EMPs at this point as well by the time they finally push.
Yeah, I think so.
So while they've gotten rid of Maestro, which took them, we're going to be 30 seconds left in the round by the time they even killed Maestro, I think. Somewhere around there. But you still have a Clash to deal with. And you'll see, they actually managed to kill the Clash, but there was so little time left on the board that it was over at that point. They were in a bad spot time-wise. And okay, I'll admit, we recorded this just a few days before the Clash issue came back and they deactivated her again. We know that she's deactivated at the moment, but she will be back at the game at some point. And this is just a really good showcase of how, again, solo or duo queue players can use a higher level strategy to really take advantage and win a round. It only takes two of you to play a Clash with someone behind her. It doesn't matter who's behind her. It doesn't have to be a Goyo shield. I'd really say Ela is strong in this situation.
Oh yeah, Ela is very strong.
Especially Astro, where there's a lot of really tight corridors. There's just not a lot of room to move when you're pushing Astronomy. And Ela Scorpion just shreds in those situations.
Ela Scorpion shreds, and it also disorientates anyone who tries to come up those stairs, come in through the bathroom, come in through the window.
She brings her own deployable shield that she can hide behind. Again, you're going to have to ask for a Jaeger ADS. I don't think that's too much to ask for. Very rarely will I find a Jaeger unwilling to give me something.
Oh yeah, especially since like Astronomy Desk is such a very common place for someone to sit.
Yeah.
I think most Jaegers already know that there should be at least one ADS there.
Yeah, and I also don't feel like many I don't feel like many ranked players would underestimate the importance of Astronomy. Most of them know how strong of a position it is to play and how important it is to holding the site. A lot of the things that we might talk about today might not apply very well to
Why is the crowd up?
below gold, silver players, and I understand that. I understand that at lower ranks, sometimes you have a much less thorough understanding
I
of
dare you,
how the game is
cowards.
played.
He's
But
gonna do it now, isn't he?
when you're in these lower rank or these lower elo situations, you can really take advantage of players who don't understand how to properly utilize their utility.
He's ready.
A lot of times you just won't see players who understand thoroughly how to deal with the clash, how to deal with a deployable shield or anything like that. I know me and Ryan have spent some time at the lower elo levels, and you can just tear through defenses or attackers just by playing a utility that they aren't seeing very often, maybe don't understand. So here we have something a little bit more advanced. This is a much more aggressive way to hold study. And we're also going to look at how well Nip attacked it. They really reacted extremely well to a very different defense. But this is a very good showcase of how to deal with the study stairs hold. And being the fact that Nip was the first ones to bring it early in these rounds, it shows that they have a very good understanding. Because if you can defend something, you can attack it, which is something that I find very underrated.
Just another step in the meta shift, and that's
So we'll watch it play out, and we'll show how they deal just with this double study defense. You can see the frag grenades going in. They clear out the stairs. They clear out the top. Rampy kind of plays this like a ranked player. He's just going to peek them. Freaking insane. But he's got Ela.
The second though gets the refrag. That's Muzi.
This is Muzi being better than everybody else. Simple as that.
Shot.
It's just, you can't not love that. Where
It was during the prep phase.
Okay, it wasn't prep phase.
Mm-hmm.
Even when they make
They show right here.
Even when you get it.
Yeah. So essentially what SSG did is, again, like I'm going to say, it's an advanced strat. They opened up this wall soft. They placed a deployable shield here, and you're going to see them play Thinking Nade inside a vault. And they're also going to open up this wall a little bit later into the prep phase, and they're going to use that to contest angles here, here, and also you're going to see Canadian move up and support from red here. So basically what they've said is, this is our wall. You can't have it. Something I would like to talk about, though, is that you don't have to open this wall to play this position. You can play that shield in vault in expectation of the wall opening. If you've seen that you lost a round because the attackers managed to open study wall and you couldn't adequately defend it, it makes a lot of sense to say, okay, we're going to make an adjustment. We're going to play a shield here. We're going to play someone in vault. And either someone, in this area, or even really this spot from red was strong with the Jaeger on the crossfire. And I think that's something that was really interesting. So just play it on the assumption that the wall gets opened. And that's a level of redundancy that's really good to see brought in ranked. And something you don't see maybe as often as you should is players playing for what happens when it goes wrong. Pretty much all Pro League strats will account for any wall being open. They don't try to count on holding any wall because it's almost impossible nowadays to open or to prevent any single wall from being opened, just with how the meta has worked out and how many ways attackers have into a site nowadays. So it makes a lot of sense to support your team by saying, hey, when or if this gets opened, I will help you contest this. And I also know that Ryan wanted to discuss a possible secondary idea, so I'm going to let him get into that.
So I do like the idea of opening this wall and playing the shield here. But what I was thinking is maybe leave out this reinforcement so that this is soft, and then opening these two walls, playing a shield here also, and that gives you more of an angle to watch just about pretty much this entire room. And I would agree that Jaeger playing this spot is very strong because not only does it do this, you can hold this door, you can hold red, hold people coming from statuary side. So I just think that there's the one thing I would change about this entire strat is maybe not reinforcing both of these walls and leaving this right one open.
Yeah, I think that adds a lot of depth to the defense. It gives you a secondary option. One thing I will add to it though is that at the pro league level, they are opening this chest to head level, um, simply because they land those shots. All right. Let's be honest. Most people that are going to watch this are in the gold to plat range, and and this is also in a LAN environment. It's much easier to land those shots in a LAN environment because of the lack of lag, ping, anything of that nature. So what I would say is instead, maybe you open the holes foot level, because at foot level you still know where everybody is. You can adjust. You just because you can see foot level doesn't mean you can't aim chest level, right? And I think that might be a really good adaptation to say, yeah, come to the wall, go ahead, but you've got to come up where I can see you and you can't see me, or they've got to prone out. If an attacker wants to prone out and study and you lose that fight, that's on you.
And one thing I do want to add, and if you are playing behind this shield, if you open up foot level, there is almost no possible way, unless they are trying to crawl under the wall, that they are going to see you behind the shield.
Yep.
So you are going to see their feet, their body, whatever, way before they even know you're.
Yep, 100%. And so basically, it just comes down to a matter of they've either got to open that wall, they've got to guess, or they've got to prone out. Those are 3 risky opportunities. Because one thing I would suggest is stick a Jaeger ADS right here, because that gets rid of at least 2 projectiles coming to open that wall. Because most likely, a Zofia or an Ashe isn't going to check if there's an ADS before they shoot their utility into the room. So at the very least, you can say we have one less thing to deal with. So they can only make 1 hole, say. So say they make this hole here for you. Okay, this is still foot level. This guy can still contest heavily.
Yes, I was about to say that exact same thing. You still got this rotate here where they're not going to know he is here.
Yeah. And so say even, if your Maestro gets greedy and you lose this spot, they still have to come in such a way where you see them first. I understand Peeker's advantage is a real thing, but at the end of the day, they're guessing, you know exactly where their head's going to be. And that's it. You have to take advantage of every opportunity given to you in ranked, because it's a very unforgiving landscape, and the higher you get, the less reaction time you are afforded, which I think is something that's important. And again, if you're playing this at a lower level, say you're silver or gold, you don't have to be the best. You don't have to be Bolo to hit these shots, my dude. I think anyone can shoot someone through a wall that can't see them. I mean, do you have really anything more to add to that?
Not really, no.
Yeah. All right, so here's a really simple and classic one. You've probably seen this all the way back to, what was the name of this operation? Dust something?
Something like that.
Dust in the Wind something? I don't know. Stay Golden Pony Boy? I don't know. Broken Operators. Oh, no, that's the name for every operation, isn't it? Shit. All right, so this is just a really simple way to hold Armory. Essentially, I call this the Bosco strat, because Bosco's the player that we know this for. You set up the wall here, you play a smoke in the corner with a shotgun, you use the smoke propagation that still really isn't fixed, let's be honest about it, to deny plant through this wall. You open up the bottom of this so you can contest through. Essentially, this is just another case of putting yourself in the best situation. They have to come close to smoke with a shotgun. And that's it. This isn't really a complicated one. Ryan, is there anything you want to add to this?
Not really. I think smoke is probably the best operator to have in this situation. Smoke, because he can deny the default plant right on the inside of that wall with the broken smoke nades that still go through hard surfaces. And even say his shotgun isn't doing it, he's still got the SMG-11 at maybe 4 feet max distance, and it just shreds.
Yeah, even with this wall open, which I think a lot of the time it's going to get opened, it's kind of hard to avoid it now. You're going to see a very low level of players at the ranked level actually really taking advantage of the repel out here in an ACOG. A lot of players will tend to group up on this corner. They'll try to play close in here. They'll try to play from CCTV, or they'll try to just kind of stack on the door right about here once they've cleared half wall. I would suggest playing someone half wall if you're going to try this setup, just as support. Probably a Jaeger. Be a bro. Give your guy an ADS inside the closet. I'm going to clear that off. I think Ryan makes a perfect point. Smoke is the best operator here, in my opinion, because you can deny the plant all the way to probably halfway through the first reinforcement without exposing yourself. You can sit here and smoke yourself, and it will never hurt you, and you never have to expose yourself past the reinforced wall, which I think is really important in just, again, creating the best opportunity for yourself. And like Ryan said, with the SMG-11 at these ranges, if no one's really taking advantage of this ACOG repel, most of the time, you're going to have someone, in this radius that you have to contest with the SMG-11, and I'm going to put money on you in that fight any day of the week. Is it a guaranteed thing? No. But I think most players platinum above will land those shots. Anything to build on this? Maybe a way we can add to this, or is Bosco just perfected it?
I pretty much think he's got it taken care of. I mean, he's probably been doing this for years.
Yeah, I don't. Like you said, this strat hasn't changed for years. For good reason. It just works. One thing I will say is if you have a friend, which I know not a lot of us do because we play Siege, but if you have a friend, I would suggest asking them to play somewhere around server vent area, first floor. So not here, but in the floor below, to just kind of make sure you don't get killed through this hole, because that can happen quite a bit. I would also reinforce this hatch rather than open it. Is something.
Yeah, I get what they're trying to do. Maybe give them a rotation out if they lose control of site. But I mean, that also leaves a lot of opportunities for you to get killed from below.
Yeah. Bosco's just better than most of us, and SSG is playing this in a coordinated way where they're counting on that rotation. But at a ranked level, I would reinforce that. I understand you're giving up a reinforcement. That sucks. But I don't think it affects you too much as far as reinforcing this site. I don't think this is a very reinforcement heavy site, especially considering how many walls will just get opened naturally over the course of the round. And I think you save yourself a lot of trouble, not only by limiting your opportunities to get killed from below, but just the ability to stand on that hatch and get angles this way. I'm not good at drawing arrows. I'm really not. I know there's an arrow tool in here, and I don't know why I don't use it, because I'm really, really bad at drawing arrows. Look, there's an arrow tool. Look at that. I'm going to use that more often. But being able to stand here and just take fights at a little bit of a longer range, maybe switching to that SMG-11, can give you a lot more options. But on the flip side of that, attacking this setup is pretty simple. It comes down to a couple things. If you're not bringing a buck on border, you're wrong. Can we agree on that?
I think that's a fair statement.
It's, to be honest, in 2020, if you're not bringing a buck in ranked or in Siege in the first place, I think you're wrong. I think there's almost nowhere buck doesn't work right now. But yeah, so just bring your buck, do your usual buck work, getting the armory wall opened up, and then just come in here. All this floor is soft. Even if that hatch is reinforced, this is all soft. Shotgun him away, push him out. You don't even have to kill him. If you just push him out of that position, then you're pretty much good.
Yeah, I think as buck, you will be, no one will ever get mad at you for getting 0 kills or doing nothing on the round, as long as you open this, and clear out back here.
100%. If you do your job, you help open armory wall, even it might not even be necessary. If Thatcher's left unbanned or you have a good Maverick, you might not even have to contest that. But if you can clear out half wall or bunker, whatever you call it, you weird European weirdos. Do you know people call that bunker?
I do, yeah.
It's
weird.
so dumb. There's a half a wall there. It's called half wall. It's easy. But yeah, if you can clear out half wall area, a lot of times you won't actually see people play in here. I don't know why. Ryan, you should start playing in there. You like smoke.
I do a little bit, but yeah, I haven't done it.
Yeah. I think it's also because the armory wall push has kind of faded away from popularity. I think we can.
Yeah, I think more times than not in ranked, you see a lot of people pushing archive.
Yeah, and I personally push archives. I know we as a team. I think it's more comfortable, but sometimes you can see things and say people, they're pushing armory wall. We need to adjust to that. And this is a way to do that. This is a way to put yourself in a power position that, again, this is something you can just do solo. You don't need a team around. This doesn't hurt your team in any way, shape, or form. You bring your own 2 reinforcements. You put them right where Thinking Nate is. Why isn't Bosco reinforcing that by himself?
Who knows?
You lazy sack of shit. You put your own wall up here. You put your own reinforcement here. You set it up with your own shotgun, and you haven't hurt your team in any way, shape, or form. Easy. Done. I'd say just leave it like that. No need to overcomplicate it. One thing I will say is if you're seeing someone play really strongly in this position, get your buck underneath, get control of sandwich window, and at that point you can pretty much eliminate this situation. I think that's a pretty simple way to deal with it, if you would agree.
Yeah.
As we'll see in the next round, Canadian made a really, really strong advantage out of playing mute below with the shotgun. He was able to open up below sandwich window. He was able to control the vents server situation. And if you're in a duo situation, you're having a problem holding the closet. Maybe that's something you take advantage of. It's just a shotgun SMG-11 and a C4 from below. I don't know. We'll see. It's really about your guys' ability to adapt and play the situations as it unfolds. No need to really take a pause. Let's just skip into this really, really simple play that we see from Canadian. I'm sure Ryan remembers this, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, it's just a really simple, easy toss to make. Like I discussed, you can shotgun out below sandwich window. God, look at this. It's so hard to see, but right there,
I saw it.
The barricade's still there.
Wow.
That is so unlucky. That is really, truly unlucky. But it was a really good strategy. As you can see, they're really clumped up right here. But like I said, maintaining repel pressure, something you should really take advantage of, especially if you're Zofia. Something about Zofia's gun with an ACOG on that spot just works. Try it. Trust me. But again, you can see, we got a guy bunched up here on the wall, on repel. This really should have been a free kill. 100%. And Nip just got lucky. I'm going to call it that. Nip got lucky that barricade happened to still be there somehow.
Oh, yeah, because 100% Canadian gets that kill on Kamikaze, and that wall doesn't get open.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could have been so cheap.
That is unfortunate, but really simple, easy trick. I would say if you're doing it in ranked, just break down that barricade beforehand and pre-shotgun the hole, because very rarely I think you're going to see ranked players check that or notice. At a pro league level, yeah, you have to assume they're going to see it, but at a ranked level, I think you could probably pre-open everything and get away with it. It could even be something really good with a Mozzie. I think Mozzie really works in that situation because he has that better primary once he actually gets going. All right. Right here, we're just going to display a little bit of creative angle making and show up that really anything can be made into a deadly angle. Right here, you can see Pino as the buck, which really showing the fact that this is just bullets and not shotgun holes means you could really do this with anybody, I'd say. So basically, this right here is in CCTV, and this would be the CCTV wall next to metal stairs. That wall is the leftmost fountain wall, and that reinforcement you're seeing is the inside of archives. And just in case we have any really new viewers, archives is an incredibly important place to maintain control of as long as you can. It's a plant site. It's very, very hard to retake, and it just makes it an extremely strong position to hold right here. And just an unsuspecting angle. I wouldn't expect a lot of people to be holding this all the way from CCTV.
Yeah, not only like so a lot of people tend to hide behind you can't see it, but there's a desk in archives about right here. A lot of people tend to hide behind that, and as you can see, I think the Maestro is hiding in that corner next to the door. But like, yeah, you can really clear out anyone who's sitting behind that desk, and you cut off pretty much any rotation from fountain back into archives.
Yeah, so if you've been playing the game for a while, you already know this angle. But so essentially the walls sit like this. So you have a wall going that way, you have a wall coming this way, and that's where the Maestro, I think you're right. I think it's the Maestro stuck, or I might be thinking Nate on the Goyle, but he's stuck in this corner now. He now has to cross an open doorway right in front of Pino. And I don't know if you guys have heard of Pino. He's kind of good. But really, anyone in this situation can land those shots. One thing I'll say, if you're new to the game, probably don't try it with Buck ACOG. That's a bit of a stretch for most players. I think Zofia would be extremely powerful on this angle, as well as maybe Ash G36 with an ACOG. I would suggest an ACOG to hold this angle. Ryan, do you have any other operators? Sledge, maybe. Sledge would be good. I don't know if you have anyone else in mind that would really be able to take advantage of this angle to the fullest.
Not any operators. One thing I do say is, like, not only is this Maestro kind of screwed, this Jaeger who is sitting in fountain right now and holding offices, he has, like, if they get control of armory, he has no rotation back to site, where he's going to either die or he's going to lose a lot of his health. So he's going to have to go all the way around to the hallway and then try to contest these people in CC right now.
Oh, another operator, Capital, I think would be extremely strong in this position. His M249 can shred through this wall in probably a matter of 5 to 10 seconds. And if you firebolt that corner right there, unless they happen to have a Wamai, Goyo's dead. 100%.
He's dead, and if he doesn't burn to death, he has to cross this doorway, and you're going to see him.
Well, and the way the fire propagates is going to be... Can I change my colors here? Yeah, the fire is going to propagate all the way across here because of how big it is. So he's going to have to cross fire and gunshots to get across. And if he manages to survive, which I'm not saying he couldn't, he's going to be so low that he's going to pose an incredibly small threat to your team from then on. Which is another reason you reinforce the fountain walls. Also, I'd say Maverick, if this is reinforced, could take advantage of this. Maverick or Hibana, probably.
I'd say Hibana is probably your best option, because if you go Maverick, you'd be exposing yourself to metal detector's door.
I'm actually going to say Maverick, because all you have to, just because of how quiet his gadget is, I'd say you actually hold someone in CCTV holding the angle and just have Maverick make you a hole here and then back off. And then someone still holding from this, where Buck is right now. Just because of how quiet it's going to be, and they just might not be aware that someone's made a hole there. They might think they're safe from that angle because there's a reinforced wall. Because we know the game sense of most ranked players isn't the best.
Yeah, true.
And as unfortunate as it sounds, this Jaeger here, even if there is a Jaeger playing here, he might just not have a mic that day. And he might know about that angle and just not say anything. And that's a really good way to get yourself killed as the guy playing in archives. So again, this is up to your creativity, the opportunities presented to you during your game, and how you decide to take advantage of them. Yeah. Do you have anything else we need to talk about on that one, or can we just...
No, not that I can think of, no.
Yeah, this is just a really simple, strong angle that I think we'll see in ranked more and more. Uh, all right, so here in a few seconds, we're gonna. Oh, Pino, sad face. We're gonna see a really good example of just the mindset of ranked players versus the mindset of pro league players, and where we're gonna see Tycho take a fight on the wrong end of the map, and you can actually see. Back it up a little bit. You can actually see right here, Psycho's playing on a Jaeger, so he doesn't have a way to do this, but he's had a friendly player open up this hatch for him before the round started. And basically what this lets him do is just rotate. Because he knows that one of two things are going to happen. They're going to push construction, and he needs the ability to flank, or they're going to... Why can't I draw arrows? I am, like, physically incapable of drawing an arrow. Or they're going to contest him here, which you'll see them do in a few seconds here, and he's just going to fall back. So essentially, he's going to burn up 30 seconds to a minute of their time dealing with him, so that their flank is secure. And what this means is that he's burned up time, and he's really not going to lose anything for it. So he gets droned out, and he just doesn't take the fight. Because you don't have to in that situation. This is a cash defense. You don't need to hold Jim super, super tight. And it's just the mindset of, yeah, so at this point, we've burned a minute and a half of the round. And that is going to be extremely important later on when just SSG is giving up all that time dealing with the player, and he's not dead. You still have a Jaeger on the board with a great gun. And as you're going to see right here, full health. They've lost nothing but a couple dock charges, and it's an extremely important mentality to have. Not only if you're going to roam, have your escape plan set up, know exactly how you're going to rotate, and know how important it is to hold the position that you're in. Ryan, I'm sure you want to expand on this a little bit.
Yeah, I really like what he did there. His whole philosophy and that whole fight was either I'm going to hide here and I'm going to sneak up on someone who's going construction, or I'm just going to leave if they find me. And that's exactly what he did. He took a little bit of damage, but he got healed right back to full health. And then he started he went back to roaming, and now they have no idea where he is.
Yeah, and you'll actually see he's going to get the kill on Bosco in a few seconds because he's full health. He moved out of the situation, and he's in a good spot to impact the round at this point. Look at that, free kill. Because he didn't take the fight in Gym. Hey, don't get me wrong. Could you win that fight in Gym? I think you could. Theoretically, you could. But what do you gain from winning that fight? Almost nothing. Now, you're almost certainly traded off, and time is over. That's it. You're done. And now he's actually the last alive in what will be a losing round, but it's a really good example of the mentality of stay alive, fight another day. And we've all seen people that just take unnecessary fights and will end up dropping around because we end up in man disadvantage, and it's unnecessary. Stay alive, fight another day. There are for sure positions where you need to stand as a man on an island and fight till you die, but that's not one of those positions. Just furthermore, anything on the mentality that we'd like to discuss, Ryan? See, his silence is your answer, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing more to say. Stay alive, fight another day. Going. All right, so here we have SSG just adapting to the meta, kind of, where we've gotten to this point where most Pro League players will simply shoot a C4 coming over the wall, and so they've just really simply moved over to a point where it's hard to shoot the C4 out of this guy. You'll see Thinking Nade down in the corner right here. Yep, C4 goes right over the wall. We'll showcase a little bit better where Thinking Nade was playing from and where he'll throw from. But so basically, most players will throw from. Let's give it a second. You gonna show me? Yeah. Most normal players will throw their C4 from right here, and because the default plant spot is right here. So what teams have done to adjust to that is they stick usually a Sophia or something similar back on the server rack, And their entire job is to shoot that C4 out of the sky. I can't draw things, Ryan. I can't do it. And their entire job is to shoot something out of the sky while we go for, I don't want to call it the new default plant, but the more common plant spot nowadays, which is right here. And so you'll see SSG just has a really simple adaptation to this. They open up the top of this wall here. You'll see Thinking Nade playing right about here. And he'll throw it over to a point where I can't draw things. Brian, can you draw things for me? Because I'm having a hard time. I'm really having a hard time.
so they open the wall here, and what they do is they toss the C4 here instead of tossing it from here. Because what you have from this wall, you get a straight line, so you see the C4 coming the entire way. From here, the Zofia back here doesn't see the C4 until it passes the wall and it's about to hit the ground. So that leaves almost a 0% chance that you are going to shoot that C4 out of the air, and this person is almost always going to die.
Yep, pretty much. And because the only adjustment you can really make is to move your Zofia right here. But then you have the really common angle right here that I'm going to say really common, but I'm not sure how many ranked players are actually aware of it. I
would say usually it's here. Usually you have this wall open and someone playing in garage.
That's what I was going to move on to.
Yeah, that has that long angle.
Yeah. Is that it's an ACOG angle that's played really, really commonly in Pro League. I'm not sure how many ranked players are going to be aware of it, but you just stick what used to be a Maestro in garage. Now I would play a Doc or a Rook or something similar. A lot of Pro League teams you'll still see playing the Maestro back there. Again, they're just really good. I'm going to say take an ACOG and an automatic weapon, so don't bring Kate or Mute. And you just hold that extremely long angle. And so now if you're playing here, you have to deal with long angle and the C4 toss and the chances that anyone just peeks you from this corner. And if they do decide, okay, he's holding this, if they decide he's holding this C4 toss, then they come back across and they can throw from here. It's just making it extremely, extremely difficult to plant. Because the problem is from this spot, you can still make that throw. You can deny this entire area with a C4. And it's just an extremely difficult place to get you out of. As far as counters, I'd say there's a hatch where here. Right about there, Ryan?
Yep.
I'd say get a probably an Ash up top and just try to or maybe even the Zofia and just try to open up this wall to the point where they don't feel comfortable standing back there. And then you can go for your primary, secondary plants, whatever you want to do. But yeah, it was a really simple adaptation we saw from SSG, and honestly, one I'm surprised we haven't seen before. It's something that you think would have come out before this, and it was really, really well played. And
yeah, you think someone would have thought, like, hey, let's move over 5 feet to the right. Maybe it'll be a little easier.
Yeah, I guess it takes a Canadian to think about it. Who knows? But, and this is actually something really interesting I wanted to demonstrate. They don't even reinforce these walls. Don't do that. Reinforce the walls. This is ranked. They can do whatever they want. Reinforce the fucking walls. Can we have that as a thing? Just reinforce the walls? Yes? Okay. Good. Because most ranked players aren't going to come to this advanced level of really shooting the C4 out of the sky and coordinating a push that well. But that doesn't mean that you can't use this alternate angle to throw your C4s. So just have your usual denial, reinforce these, like a normal person. And you have 2 different options on where you want to C4 from. Simple, easy. I think it works. Anything we really need to add to that?
I think we pretty much covered it all.
Yeah. And again, this is just something that a solo player can do. You don't need a team focusing around you to make this work. Even if you don't have a C4, you can play your smoke from here. You can shotgun open the wall by yourself. You have 3 smoke canisters that you can pop off in these areas, and that'll cover the entire plant. Easily done. And even if you're not going to play anyone on the long angle, you can pop a reinforcement right here, and that just gives you a safe place to play from. that will protect you from the hatch, and you can throw all the way over from there. I think that covers it. Really simple, easy denial. Great way to play the basement of Bank. Let's move it right along.
Site is very
All right, so what we're going to showcase here is just a really simple, easy Evil Eye that, again, I can't believe none of us ever thought of before. It's just set up right along the north windows that can cover bookshelf plant.
Plenty of information.
Okay, that was actually a really good shot onto it. Let's see if we can back that up right here. So the Maestro Cam is actually positioned right here with this bookshelf open. And that can really, I'd open it up a little more personally, if especially being ranked where people are probably less likely to notice or be able to deal with it.
Yeah, because then like if you open the whole thing, then that also gives you the view of like all the way to this corner over here.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe not even the whole thing, but like maybe like to here. Yeah. I think that probably works pretty well. But yeah, so basically you have vision from, I think you'd probably all the way get to that wall to this wall. And don't get me wrong, it's not the best plant denial in the world, but it's information. It would be extremely strong paired with somebody down low with a C4. Anyone down low can just get a ping from it. And you actually also see the other Maestro Cam just right here, which actually, when you have both, I don't think you need to open up the whole thing. I didn't think about that. I didn't notice where the other one was.
Maybe maybe they would have to open this little half wall that's right here.
True. Yeah, I'd still open the bookcase. At a ranked level, I'd open the bookcase. I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's just, again, something you can do as a solo player. Doesn't hurt your team in any way, shape, or form. I've never met anyone who goes, "Don't bring Maestro, you idiot." To be honest, if I ever had someone telling me not to bring a Maestro, if anyone told me not to bring a Maestro, I'm probably just gonna type GG in chat and move along with my day. Yeah, I think you're probably on the same page there, right?
Yeah, I'd pretty much uninstall and never play video games ever again.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Maestro's really fucking strong for anyone who wasn't aware of this. Yeah, if you're new, bring Maestro, you literally can't fuck it up. No, that's not true. I said that without any caveats. It's really hard to fuck it up. Even if you don't know where to put them, you can just go, "Hey, where do I put the Evil Eyes?" And someone will tell you. And then someone else will tell you something else, and it might devolve into everyone shooting each other. But you'll get a lot of information. And that's always a positive. So yeah, just bring your Maestro. Okay, I think where you set up will be important. Because I think this is somewhere where you need to actively be on your Evil Eyes. I might reinforce the wall over here and sit behind that. I don't know what you think about that.
Why are we reversing? I'd like to.
Because if this wall gets opened, then they could hit you through the soft wall.
Oh, so you're talking about someone playing behind that wall?
Yeah, just as a place to safely operate the Maestro cams. Because the problem with this site is there is a lot of soft walls and bad places to sit as a Maestro. As we know in Siege, staying in one place is bad.
I think right now, is he in closet right now?
I'm not exactly sure where he's playing. We can play it out and see if it shows him.
For both teams, Valkyrie Cams and Drones, providing that. Lots of information in Siege.
Yeah, he is playing it here. The only problem with this, I'll say, is that, again, at a ranked level, relying on a teammate, if you're solo, to hold that door is asking quite a bit. I'm not saying they can't. And if you're in duos, great. You know, that can be an extremely strong position to play. But from a solo queue perspective, I would say this corner is probably your safest. I say that with a bit of a caveat because I know these windows can be an issue. But the likelihood...
Maybe even like here, laying down there.
I was looking at that as I said this. The only thing I don't like about that is that here, you're only really exposed to this window, whereas here, you're kind of exposed to this one, this door, anyone in here. You can be naded really easily from this window. As you see, they have a buck up here. Um, Anyone who's coming in here has a really good angle onto you. I think on balance, especially if you can get a barricade or a castle onto this window, I think you're probably a little safer. Because in reality, you don't want to stay there the whole round. It's just the best place to
I'd
be
say
on your
even
teams.
if you had a castle here, this is a viable option.
Yeah, with the castle there, I think that's viable.
With like maybe a rotate here also.
Yeah, I feel that. The only thing I do like about here is that you can actively peek the windows.
Yeah, true.
Because I think, like we said, you're not really going to plant deny with this. The chances of you getting the zaps off to plant deny. I think this was a counter strat, to be honest. I think this was SSG specifically saying Nip likes to plant this corner. Let's have an Evil Eye there.
Probably.
Because they do counter strat incredibly efficiently. But I think just having the vision on all of this site is probably more important than actually trying to get the denial itself. And once you have the Evil Eye set up, you can contest these windows with your Alda, and it's the Alda. Your chances of winning are pretty good. Personally, if someone was spraying 81 bullets at a time at me, I would be afraid to be on these windows. And I'd probably dedicate a lot of time and effort to removing him from wherever he was. Put a deployable shield right here, my dude. You put a deployable shield right there, and that's all of a sudden a very strong position. Like, even if you just put it, like, perpendicular to the... That's a bad drawing. Put it, like, perpendicular to the wall right here. I don't know why I drew the second line, but, like, right there. You can camp behind that pretty effectively. And just operate your Evil Eyes for your team. Is there any other way you'd like to adapt that, or maybe try something different with it, or are we okay on this?
I think we're good.
Okay. Again, really simple, easy solo queue strat that won't harm your team in any way. I don't think anyone's going to complain about you spending a reinforcement here. I don't think anyone's going to complain about having Evil Eyes over the entire site. I don't think anyone's going to be bad about it. One thing I will say here, don't get overly aggressive. I know I just talked about peeking these windows, but I would say save that until you're in an advantageous position to do so. Or you're in a position where it's necessary. Like, they've committed to these windows and it's really pressuring who... if there's someone else playing in here and they're just getting blasted through these walls, maybe support them by just pre-firing the windows. You don't even really have to hit anything. If you can just force people to be wary of your position, that can do a lot to help support your teammates. I think we're good there, and we're moving on to the last thing we have here, where I'm just going to move right into it because it's extremely simple. Canto spot, what's known now as Canto spot. All right, I give it. So this wall right here, if you reinforce these two walls and you play, traditionally it's going to be a dock in this spot. It gives you such a strong power position, essentially just to hold everything from the front lobby on. Because it puts you, so you're sitting right down there. You can see the front door effectively. You can see most of the lobby. You can cover the windows. And occasionally you can get line of sight through these windows if they're holding them.
And what's really hard to tell is these bars right here. You get really good views through these metal bars of the windows, of the front doors, and from distances like the front door and the windows, they are really hard to shoot through.
I believe we'll get a better image of it in a second here. But these are the bars he's talking about right here. And also these. So you can shoot down through, and you're always at an advantageous position shooting through metal bars from close up. Because I'm sure we've all been in the situation trying to hit someone hiding behind metal bars. It really comes down to fire rate, luck, and insane levels of skill. And so you'll see right now Psycho doing something that it's a perfect way to counter it. Super easy. get some Hibana pellets on the wall, open it up. But this can be really easily countered with just a mute jammer. Because it's really difficult to get an EMP onto the top of those stairs without having to contest the dock. And honestly, if you've already killed the dock, you don't really need to open the wall. But once this wall is open, you get line of sights all the way back to the beginning of square. Say that? Janitor's closet area door. You get really, really long lines of sight, and you can kind of control the entire south end of the map. I don't know how much you want to expound on that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you open this wall right here, you see all the way down to Janitor's Closet, you're cutting off the rotation of anyone coming up the stairs over here, anyone who's holding stock, anyone who's rotating up square to come back to site. You pretty much cut off 50% of the rotation that roamers have.
Yeah, especially like playing this window, you've got, like he just pointed out, you've got everyone on this half of the map, anyone trying to come up these stairs. So, and then with north window control over here, say you have 1 or 2 people on those windows over there, you've essentially just locked them into sight. You've put them in a box that says, because I don't believe there's any hatches you can drop down from, is there? On CEO?
If you have a rotate into Janitor's Closet, there's that one.
Sure. But you have extremely limited opportunities to contest. So honestly, I would say just there's a couple things you need to play this spot really effectively though. You need to have someone that you trust playing in stock. Holding stock is extremely important because your back is turned to it the whole time. Usually when me and Ryan will play this spot, either I will offer to play stock for him or I will ask him to play stock for me. I think Ryan has heard it multiple times. I'll ask, can someone play stock before I pick Doc? Just because it's a really important area to hold. But if you can hold stock, and if you have a mute available to you that you can ask to pop down a mute jammer, or even a single bandit battery that you can spare to put on the rightmost wall. Oh my god, Muzi. That's toxic. God, this is a good game, wasn't it?
It was fantastic.
God. Vamos Ninjas, I'm just gonna put it out there. But yeah, playing Kanto Spot is extremely powerful in just controlling the map. And if you see like no one's reinforcing that top wall, bring yourself a Zofia with an ACOG and a vertical grip, open a hole, and you control half the upstairs as well as the main lobby. This is really something that's, I think, underutilized in ranked. I'm not sure how you feel about it, Ryan.
I can honestly say I think you and I are the only people in ranked I've ever seen actually play that spot.
It's very, very rare that people really take advantage of how strong of a position it is. And again, this is something that you can just do solo. Preferably in duos, because holding stock is kind of a precarious position to be in. I don't know about you, I don't particularly like playing in stock.
No, it's very hit or miss. Yeah.
Okay. Now that Ella's viable again, you can bring a shield with Ella and probably make that decently strong.
Yeah, bring a shield with Ella, have someone open that hatch in there so you can rotate out.
Yeah. But again, the problem with that is as soon as Ella rotates out, or whoever is in stock rotates out, you're in a bad spot on Doc. Because it's very hard to rotate away from Kanto Spot. Like, it's basically my best advice if you're in Kanto Spot and you lose your back support, I would say move to Elevator.
Drop, yeah, and worst comes to worst, have Elevator hatch open so you can drop if you need to.
Yeah. And this comes back to the mentality of live to fight another day. You don't have to get a kill on the person on parking garage. If you do, great. But in reality, parking garage exists to punish mistakes. One of the mistakes you can make is peeking parking garage, which I think a lot of people.
Which I do every game.
Oh, I'm gonna peek it every time. Every single time. It's ranked. I don't care. I don't have a world championship to lose. But for any of the solo queue players, duos out there, especially new players that maybe don't understand a lot of concepts in the game yet, the best thing you can do is stay alive. The longer you are alive, if the round is still going, you have a chance of winning, essentially. That's kind of it for me. I don't know if you have anything else, Ryan, that you'd like to add on.
No, not that I can think of.
Always keep your positivity, always keep a good attitude, always keep a good mental state coming into the game, and you'll win a lot more, I think. Yeah, I think that's going to be it from us at Carried Golds. We'd like to thank you for stopping by and checking out what we have to offer here. Next game we'll be going into is BDS versus Fnatic. I thought they had a lot of good innovation. That video should be out same time next week, Ryan?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Thank you all very much, and keep giving call-outs. Goodbye.